Red, a lot of people are a little afraid of both yellow and red. They are two colors that people just don't. Yellow, they just shy away from and don't decorate with it. Red, people moved away from when everyone got away from Tuscan colors and went with the whole farmhouse thing, which was all grays and whites and, you know, a little bit of black and a lot of white and a lot of white and a lot of white. I don't paint white. My Honky Tonk Red is in my top 5 favorite colors that I use. So I am hitting 2019 with bright colors. My name is Tracey and I am with Traceys Fancy. I'm a furniture painter, refinisher, and a furniture painting coach. And also a brand ambassador for Dixie, Belle Paint. We're gonna kind of debunk some rumors is what my goal is today, is to debunk some rumors that you hear about paint that were true with some other chalk paint brands, but I don't think they're true with Dixie Belle, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. So I left one drawer plain because we're gonna do a little science experiment here, a little chalk paintings Dixie Belle experiment here. This is for the same client. This bed and this dresser are for the same client. This bed is a family heirloom of this. They've had it in the family for years and years. And look at the post on it, y'all. See the cannonball post? Isn't that amazing? It's beautiful. This bed is painted solid color, no distressing, in Honky Tonk Red. And then it is sealed with Gator Hide, which is my favorite sealer with Dixie Belle paint. It's the best top coat to use. Yeah, the bed doesn't really go with it, but this dresser was also my client's dad. So they've had it forever. It's her dresser. They brought it to me and I'm painting it. This is gonna be a very non-distressed, non-farmhouse, over the top, lots of whimsy, which is totally my style. But this one's not gonna be an antique red. It's gonna be a bright, whimsical red. So what I've always heard is that reds are hard to paint with. And it's not just that I've heard it, they really are. If you paint it on walls, if you paint it on furniture, you'll find that you have to paint many coats. On walls, sometimes if you haven't used a good primer, you'll have to paint like 4 coats on walls to get good coverage unless you use a good primer. So chalk paint, same thing. Of course, your finished product is only as good as your prep work. Is that correct? So we always want to clean well, and I use my White Lightning product cleaner. I am a born again furniture cleaner. So you just put a couple tablespoons of this White Lightning powder in some warm water, and then I just give it a bath. I literally just sponge it all over the whole thing. I let it drip, I let it run in all the nooks and crannies, and then I wipe it all down, and then I go back and I spray it again with some water. I just use a sprayer or a sponge. Y'all like my whiskey sprayer? It's really not whiskey. Someone sent this to me, y'all. Someone sent me this. On this piece though, I wanted to debunk the theory that you have to use a primer under red. Bleed through, you really only have to worry about lighter colors like pinks and lavenders and pale greens and whites and off-whites. But once you get into dark colors like that, you really aren't gonna have a bleed through issue, or at least I never have. Honky Tonk Red, this is it right here. Look at that jar. It's the purest of purest red. They are spot on, like you grow up in your mind. Reds. One of the things that I've heard is that you always need to prime under red. So I used my Boss White right here. It's very, there you go. BOSS. I know it's backwards. Stops bleed through stains, blocks odors. Okay, that's what BOSS stands for. We're gonna do red up here with nothing, only cleaned. And then we're gonna paint over this one that I've given one single coat of Boss in white. And then we're gonna do this one down here on the bottom that I've given one single coat of chalk paint in gray. Now, why did I do that? Because I like this idea a lot. When you're painting with red, if you use white primer underneath it, sometimes, depending on the paint product that you're using, and the brand that you're using, because reds tend to be a little bit sheer when they go on, you can see the white primer through it, and it still takes several coats. So it's like, well, why did I put the white primer on when I'm still having to use so many coats to cover it? So the hint in the painting, or the trick, kind of a little hidden secret trick that people have used for years in the painting world, is paint it with gray first. Just let gray be your primer, or tint your primer. with gray. I just use straight gray, which by the way, this is, if I do paint gray, this is my favorite. It's called Manatee Gray right there. I like this gray very much because I love the pure colors. This does not go tan, it doesn't go blue, it doesn't go purple. It is just a straight up gray. You paint with a gray on your piece of furniture and then you paint red on top of it, and it doesn't like blast through the red like the white does. The white will kind of blast through it. Now remember, I'm not talking about Dixie Belle paint here. I'm talking about if you use other reds from other companies. What I'm trying to do for you guys today is show you that with Dixie Belle, and this may happen on live camera, I may be proven wrong, but I want to show you that Dixie Belle, as long as your surface is prepped and clean, you don't need to go with a white primer or a gray paint underneath it. We're going to compare them. So I'm going to put white on the drawer, white on the primer, and white on the gray, and we're going to see what happens. We're going to see what happens. So I'm just going to paint this gorgeous Honky Tonk Red all over everything. It looks great right when you put it on, so you always need to let it dry and decide if you're going to need to paint another coat or not. There may be a little bit of breakthrough whites as it starts to dry. This drawer has a little bit of an indentation, so I kind of scrub my paint in there to get it in that indentation. But look at the brilliance of that red, you guys. So here it is. It's probably only going to need one coat. Isn't that gorgeous? Great coverage. All right, so there's our red. Do y'all love it? Okay, so we'll see if there's any difference at all between using a white primer and using a gray primer. Let's see if it changes the tone of the red any at all. Even if it does change the tone of the red, we would be able to achieve the true red by giving it the second coat. That of course would knock out whatever odd tone was coming through from the paint that's underneath. So do y'all see a difference on camera at all? Moving up here to the top one, this one has no primer, no gray. What I've always had struggles with other paints, whether it's wall paint, whether it's Behr, Sherwin-Williams, or whether it is a chalk or mineral paint, is that reds tend to be a little bit sheer and not cover as well, and you have to do multiple coats to get good coverage. But once I started working with Dixie Belle and I loved the coverage, I realized that my reds were going on beautifully without any primer. So I took that step out and I decided I wanted to share that with you guys today. So I decided I would prove it right here. Definitely the white primer left a brighter red, but I really do prefer the top, I believe. The top and the bottom are very, very similar. So it would be just a waste of gray to put that down there. You'd just be wasting it. But there's a time and a place, you guys, for needing to use primer. I just wanted to debunk the needing it for red paint with Dixie Belle paint because the paint is so amazing and it covers so great. One thing I will tell you, another little tip, when you are painting drawers, these holes where the handles were, you want to have like I usually have a tiny little brush in my hand. You want to watch it. You don't want to just paint your coat on and then leave the room and then come back and it's dripped out, because paint will offload. It'll offload into those holes and then you'll end up with a little drip, and you don't want that drip to dry. I usually get like a tiny brush and move that away. You know, we've always been told that you need to do special prep work to paint with reds because they're a little bit sheer and they're harder to get good coverage. Dixie Belle totally destroys that theory, completely destroys it. So top drawer, no primer, one coat right there in front of y'all. So I'll be doing solid red on the front, and then for sure this bottom skirt down here is going to have stripes. There's going to be Harlequin on the side, and then it's going to be black, white, and red. What a wonderful world we live in to be able to get on here and talk with each other across the world and share such wonderful products that bring all of us so much happiness and serve as a form of therapy and a way to make ourselves feel beautiful and our homes feel beautiful and make beautiful things for other people's homes. It's such a wonderful world, and I'm so glad to be a part of it. So I love all you guys. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.